All right, I'm going to go. Secret Service is still not let anyone in. Right, we'll go and start now. Right. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us for the first press briefing of the T-Supers administration. I'm Oliver James, the press secretary, and I look forward to getting to know you all, or even resuming the relationship with some of you all. Despite political differences across the room, it'll be my honour to keep this historically important relationship between the White House and the press corps going. Anyway, with pleasantries over, it's an honour to be here with you all. When the president asked me to serve in this role, we talked about the importance of bringing truth and transparency back to the White House and, of course, to the press corps. Press corps. I always say that. Sorry about that. My main goal as press secretary is to ensure we are communicating about the policies, events, and objectives of the T-Supes administration. I also look forward to developing a relationship with the press, even though from time to time, of course, we shall disagree. On the topic of transparency, the White House will be holding 2 press briefings every single week on a Friday and a Sunday. Now, this coming Sunday, because of the inauguration, we won't be holding one. We'll be releasing a statement instead. With the new addition of a daily diary of the president, ensuring that we're not only that you can report on and challenge the administration, but so that we can ensure transparency. So there will be a daily diary now. Over the last few days, the president has met with her White House staff, her cabinet members, and even foreign delegates. She's got on with the work straight away. No dramatics, just hard work. Over the next 30 days, the administration has clear targets and objectives. Here, we set out our 30-day plan to getting on with the work of the people. What we're going to do is we're going to increase transparency, as we were saying, with daily diaries of the president and multiple press briefings a week, all in an effort to show you exactly what happens in the administration. It's your right to be informed, and we're mandated by your vote. Under previous administrations, employment within the federal government has been unreliable and unstable, ranging from unjust dismissals motivated by personal grudges or political grievances, to shadow executive blacklists, to a high turnover rate in roles that matter most in bringing results to the American people. The T-Supes cabinet administration will not tolerate this any longer. Stability and the employees' ability to get the job done will be assured. This administration will require termination letters with in-depth reasoning, and no one will be persecuted or fired for their affiliations, beliefs, or personal grudges. The administration will also be focusing on a civil service dedicated to the future generations who want to get involved and contribute to NUSA. There will be hard-working individuals dedicated to the continuity of this community placed in leadership positions to train the Americans of tomorrow. Leaders in the civil service will have a role and voice in the Domestic Policy Council. Now, on justice, the administration sees huge potential for reform in the system. A huge overhaul to ensure that we have the checks and balances in place, ensuring a fair and just justice system for the American people. Political persecution, corruption, bribery, and unethical practices have no place in the future that T-Soups and Alex J. Cabot envisioned this country. That is why there will be a vast and tough reform for the Department of Justice. This reform will include eradicating the bureaucracy that has plagued the effectiveness of the DOJ, consolidating the department into 3 divisions. Deputies will be removed as they are proven to be seat fillers with no substance. Under this administration, the big crimes will be prosecuted, but anything else will be transferred to the district attorneys. Now, the National Guard. The administration will start by first purging all of the mercenaries that were illegally introduced into the Ridgeway conflict. There will be a complete and substantial overhaul into the National Guard, starting with drafting basic procedures for recruitment, training, and operations. There'll be massive recruitment efforts for people to undergo basic training, which will be required before obtaining an assignment. Those with the necessary leadership qualities will rise in the ranks and lead the new and improved National Guard. Now, currently in Noosa, there are multiple individuals who share multiple high-ranking positions. Not only is this damaging to the success of someone's department or agency, but this also makes the work put out by said departments or agencies low quality and full of blubber. Under this administration, the ability to hold multiple high-ranking positions will be heavily restricted and cracked down upon. This nation has been leading and a monumental figure in every area where our destiny as a community takes us. In anticipation of renewing Noosa's international standing and relationships, the administration will be organising the G4, a group of nations who share our ideals, our vision, and our determination and interests in forming an ironclad partnership to advance our diplomatic efforts. Along with being a leading nation, with being a figure to look up to, a group to stand together with. Most nominations have now been completed, folks. You can still apply for vacancies in the transition server, which will still run until after the inauguration. However, department-specific roles can be applied for through said departments. And with that, I shall now be taking questions. If you would like to put your hands up, folks, and I will choose you at random. And you can ask any question. I'm not afraid. Anyone want to put their hand up? Anthony, John of Doom. No, we'll get John of Doom first. Can someone, John?
Testing.
We can hear you. How can I
Yes,
help you?
great. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm fantastic, John. It's lovely to be back.
Let me be the first to congratulate you on your return. I hope this is the start of many great press conferences, depending on how it goes. I have a couple of questions, actually. Number one, you said earlier your reform with the DOJ, with you only taking the big cases and some of the smaller cases heading towards the D.C. Attorney General's office. However, I believe Scunge, I don't know how to pronounce their name, I apologize, was the former GCAG prior to being selected as the Attorney General. Do you think the D.C. Attorney General's office will be more than capable of handling these cases?
Of course, we have full faith that the great DC shall have a great system of district attorneys. So, I mean, really, it's a question for the mayor, a question for those in charge of that specific area. But we hope and we assume, because we are in Noosa, we're not in, we've not got 15 members, we've got 200 odd thousand. So, if we're pretty confident that DC has the capability to handle this.
Another question I have is with congressional relations. How does the Soups Cabinet administration plan to work with Congress to achieve its legislative priorities, including any other parties that might have a majority in any chamber in the future?
Yeah, I mean, with that, I think we've already proven as an administration that we're taking the different approach, that we have a calmer tone, that we want to work with people. And I say to anybody who's maybe in a different party, maybe not in the party of the president, The president is willing to work with you. We are ready to work with you. This administration will work with anybody that wants to make change.
One final question I have is, as you know, you've been promising a administration of change and whatnot. How are you going to stick with that commitment? And what would happen in the future, say, if Soups or anyone else exhibits similar behavior to what the previous administration might have possibly have done?
Well, we'll start with what I just said, is that the first change we've made is the change of tone of government. We're now more about serving the people, not dictating to them, not pushing our agenda on them with against their will, and not being chaotic. I mean, it's easy to see that this administration already has been a lot more organized. We've been a lot more together. I mean, I don't have to remind you about the first week of the last administration and how chaotic that was.
You
I
were a
mean, we
part
had
of
the
that last
USM.
administration too.
I was, sadly. We had the USM situation, we had all that stuff. But what we've done already is we've changed that tone, we've changed the attitude of how we govern. And I think that's the important first step. Because we're not going to get everything right. We will make mistakes. There may be a few scandals here and there. That is just part of the natural cycle of life. But it's how we respond to that. It's how our attitude is to that. And if our attitude isn't to listen to people, to understand why they're upset or understand their opinion, then obviously it's the wrong approach. And I think that is what the president does best, is the president wants to listen, and the president wants to get involved and understand people and understand what's best for this community. So I think that is the biggest change. And in terms of if anyone in the administration ever exhibited the behaviour of the previous administration, well, I can assure you the president and vice president would not. And if their cabinet did so, they would be dealt with accordingly.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Thank you. Put your hand up in the... Right, okay. We'll bring up they sinned. And I'm fairly
Hey,
sure in enough. Oh, hello, they sinned. What's your
hey,
question to the White House?
I really have it's a pretty hefty question, honestly. I want to know, the whole Ridgeway conflict and everything. T Soups
Yeah.
was a big proponent of going to war with Ridgeway, and then turned around and gave the governor of Ridgeway Secretary of Homeland Security, which,
Yeah.
by the way, is one of the most influential roles that you can hold in NUSA. You are in charge of 3 huge departments and one of the most elite agencies and in-demand agencies. So, what is the thought process behind giving, somebody who was just our enemy basically a direct line to the presidency? Because I got president off of being Sec HLS. So what's
Yeah.
the plan here? What's
Yeah,
the
so-
reasoning?
I've spoken to the president about this, and the president says that she hired Matrix after her own assessment of the Department of Homeland Security, its agencies, and other executive branch departments. She realised that we needed a drastic change immediately in order to get our departments back on track. Now, Matrix, it was a wild card pick, but she's entrusting that his unique background can help him turn the departments back around.
And so we're gonna trust somebody that we were just at war with a position that's a direct line to the presidency.
Well, listen, we have a department that was seriously underperforming, and as the president told me, Matrix was a wild card, and all we've got to do is wait to see if that plays off. But I'm sure and I'm confident that he has the experience and the abilities to be able to perform in the role.
Okay, I was just worried about the integrity, not really the experience or anything, because all of us, we all have experience. It's really just, the
No,
integrity part. I want to know if y'all actually trust him or if that was just a political move.
we do trust him. I mean,
Okay.
anyone the president has appointed is trusted, of course. Now, they've obviously had their private conversations and discussed these plans. I was not privy to these conversations, but I can say that Matrix and T Soups have a great relationship blossoming, and I'm sure they'll do great in the cabinet. And of course, we talked earlier about standards and the ethics and the tone of the administration, and anyone who steps out of that line will be dealt with.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the answer.
No problem. Right. We shall go to. We should go to strategical Wolfie. I believe he's part of the Onion.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's your question to the White House?
Okay, perfect. So I'm from The Onion, as you said, Noosa's best and most forward adapting newspaper. So my question is, should someone whose cabinet has a combined 500 arrests in DC be trusted?
And who are you referring to?
The president, of course. President T. Soups has a combined 296 arrests on Washington, D.C., and her cabinet totals to approximately 500. So that is combining, or not cabinet, sorry. That's combining every single person she's appointed so far.
Well, we encourage people off team, of course, to get involved and do what they need to do, to make
Whoa,
DC.
are you encouraging people to commit crime off team?
Well, I'm saying that it's more than acceptable because it brings activity to DC, and of course we support that. I mean, in terms of making it active, I mean it brings department activity to our great law enforcement, and off-team crime has been for the last few months something that has been a bit more accepted. So, in terms of that,
So can
it
the Onion
helps.
accurately report that the White House is encouraging crime off team?
You can commit crime off team if that's what you wish. Yes, that it helps with activity with the departments and it encourages DC activity, of course. So, especially with the events and stuff.
Okay, perfect. Another question. This is along the same lines as the Ridgeway governor.
Yeah.
He in one of the raid videos was recorded saying, quote, death to Noosa. Is that someone who should really be trusted with homeland security? That being the homeland of the United States?
Well, of course, the president has had several conversations with Matrix, and he may have made a few light-hearted jokes in the past, but I'm sure he's going to do a fantastic job in the Department of Homeland Security. I mean, just ignore my words and focus on his actions. He's going to get to work, and he's going to do a great job.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Right, we shall go to insert failure.
Hello?
Hello, what's your question to the White House?
I got just one question for you.
Yeah.
We're looking for an update. How is the transition going for the intelligence community from the George Godson administration to the T Soup administration?
Fantastic, of course. We have great people coming in. You can, of course, see our nominations that have been made. The transition as a whole is going fantastic, incredibly smoothly, and we appreciate all the outgoing individuals who have supported us with that.
Are you a big supporter of DNI Fuzz Mike 11?
Our current director of national intelligence is fabulous.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Right. We'll go to Anthony the King, and then we'll take some in-game questions.
All right, Oliver. I just want to ask a question about the White House.
Of course.
Does the White House think it's coming home this year?
It's coming home in many ways. We've got President T Soups coming home to a rightful place as our great president. And of course, it's coming home in the football terms. I'm sure we may see some football matches at the point.
Also, I wanted to ask about the appointment of JT Dale Jr. and Mitsuo Mochizuki to USMS and
Yep.
director and deputy director, because I know that JT and Mitsuo, going back, they've had some fights. So what's up with that?
Well, of course, the president is open to other opinions, and the president actively encourages people with other opinions to join the administration because it helps us as an administration get on the front foot and tackle issues where needed.
Oh, beautiful. Anyway, go vote Pioneer, guys. Have a good night.
All right. So, if anyone has a question, say me in the actual chat, and then we'll there's another stage person, but we'll. Okay. Jacob Copley, what's your question? How does the White House feel about? Sorry. the Knotsweg's removal from Congress? Well, people get removed from Congress for all sorts of reasons, and I'm sure you can contact the former representative for comment about that. Right. Who else has a question? Sorry. Hey, Timmy has a question. Who is Timmy? How? Oh. Who's Timmy? Oh, okay. Timmy, just scream your question at me. Okay. Lots of hashtags. Great question. I completely agree.
Oliver,
Yes,
That was
Adam.
all hashtags.
Jake
by the
Tapper
way.
here with CNN. How you doing?
Oh gosh.
What is
What's
the
your
president's
question?
response to her sexism in not hiring any women in her administration?
We have plenty of women. We actually have the Secretary of State, Casey Montague, who is a woman.
There are actually multiple reports that Casey Montague is a crossdresser and isn't actually a woman. You can refer to the Politico article about her infiltrating the White House press office. But what is your comment that President T. Soups, being a woman, has absolutely no woman in her administration? There are many
She
reports from
does. She has
TMZ out there
Secretary
that said
Montague.
that the president actually sidelined Mama Gobies, her White House chief of staff, because it was revealed that Mama Gobies was a woman. Does the administration have any comment on the president's purported sexism?
The president refers you to the song by Katy Perry called "Woman's World." Timmy, what was your question? Is Timmy not asking anymore? Oh, yeah. What's your question? Right. Going to mediate tension with the countries we're not friends with. So it was a question: how is the
Is
administration
T-Soups
going to
going
mediate?
to
with them?
mediate relations with
Yeah.
countries we're
In
not
terms of that, the
friends
State
with?
Department is doing amazing work right now. They've actually had a really, really good start. And Secretary Montague and, of course, President T. Soups have met with various foreign delegates. Now, of course, there are issues that prop up, but the State Department and the administration as a whole is very, very happy to talk through any problems that are ongoing, any things that have happened. Is T. Soups' administration going to legalize nuclear bombs? No. Shout me. Okay, what's your question, Drew? Drew, what is your question? Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough, folks. If you keep hearing me cough, that is why.
Secretary Oliver, Sean Hannity here with Fox News with the question. What is your response that the president is misogynistic and openly biased against members of the LGBTQ community? It was reported that Concept applied for DNI, but was reportedly sidelined from a confidential report from the White House, speaking on anonymity, that the president sidelined Concept for DNI because he was, quote unquote, too LGBTQ for this administration. Is there a comment?
The president loves the gays. Drew, are you gonna? What's your question? Right, Drew, professional hater. What does this administration plan to do to address the failure to claim a victory in the war? Well, do you know what? We'll talk about the wider context of the war. I mean, there was long discussions had with military leaders, the Ridgway government, and members of the Joint Task Force Liberty, and then what was decided from that is that Noosa's best interests were to end the war with Ridgway as a peaceful war. His task was to bring activity to both groups, which has been accomplished, and reopen Noosa's relationship with the Ridgway governor, Matrix OC. And they were both members of Congress that passed the Ridgway Charter, and the president and the Ridgway governor, they're both extremely honoured to now be working together to rekindle the relationship between the two communities. And needless to say, this war came as a surprise to the military, and consequently, we were not prepared to begin this war, and we've exhausted our resources fighting with no clear end in sight. A game was never created to have the official battles or anything, and raiding of each other cities became a bit repetitive and tiring. So then, rather than continuing the same war antics, we've decided to integrate our two communities by committing to joint events. So there's going to be joint events between Ridgeway and Noosa's forces, and Ridgeway has agreed to allow for the drafting of members of the United States military into Ridgeway's State Guard, provided that they become dual citizens, although we can obviously acknowledge that the war has kick-started activity and believe that this truce will yield long-term activity. Right, I'll look in the stage and then I'll go back to the thing. I'll see if anyone in the stage. Oh, John of Doom has a question again. We'll ask John of Doom again. He always has a question.
Yes, I do, and I completely forgot what it was in the time that we were thinking. I believe it was about what was it again? I think it was about the upcoming mayoral and DC City Council elections. Do you know what's the administration's stance on it so far? You think you can work with the city council and mayor?
As I said before, the president is willing to work with anybody that wants to improve DC and wants to improve Noosa. So it doesn't matter who gets elected. The president will work with them if they want to work with us and if they want to make Noosa a better place.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Undead's Valor. Undead's Valor, what is your question to the White House?
Hello?
Yes, hi, we can hear you. What's your question?
I wanted to ask if there were any plans for downsizing or combining any branches, because I feel like there are a lot of different agencies or things of such that do basically the same thing, just different flavors of it. So are there any plans, with a lack of activity among all of them, because they're so spread out, are there any plans to consolidate the members into more uniform departments?
Well, I would question the lack of activity in that. I mean, actually, we've seen across lots of departments that there is widespread activity. I mean, there is work to do. There's recruitment to happen, but across our agencies, some of them are doing a fantastic job. I mean, recently we've seen the great work the Secret Service do, the great work that the Diplomatic Security Service do. So there's lots of space for other departments. And, you know, where necessary, the president will obviously evaluate activity in departments and make choices from there.
Okay, that was all.
Thank you. Anyone in... Well, I'm going to take another stage question in a moment. So what's your question, KJ Kirkman? Oh, no, it's not KJ Kirkman. Sorry, it's Meto Leto. Sorry. What's your question, Meto Leto? Why aren't you taking Timmy's questions? I would take Timmy's questions, but do you know what? Every time he just goes into hashtags, and it by the time then, I'm moved on to another question. Timmy, what's your question? Go on. Quick. It's a tad put. Just ask the question. Oh, God. You keep moving. Now, how should I propose to tea soups? Well, on a lovely summer's day, consent with great consent, possibly in the Oval Office. It's a great place. Okay, let's have a look. In this stage, we will move. Right, that person's been waiting a while. We'll move up. Yiddish head. What is your question to the White House? You're currently on mute.
Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah. What is the White House comments on the interagency fighting, specifically between DSS and SS?
I don't specifically see that actually.
I got you. I can comment. Apparently, the Secret Service has been just airing out DSS saying they're like shit and incompetent and incapable of their jobs. To be honest, that's not what I see though. So I was just wondering where this is coming from and if the president has a response to it. Thank you.
Well, the response should be that, actually, I've seen some great work between the Secret Service and DSS, and people say off the cuff remarks. And I would obviously remind our Secret Service personnel to not make comments like that because they will obviously be publicised. We are in NUSA after all. But of course, things happen. People get a bit angry sometimes. It is a game. It just happens.
I don't know, man.
but-
It's like a pattern, is what I'm hearing. Like something about SS having to be deployed to take over a DSS mission. And to my knowledge, like DSS was pretty successful with their protection detail, and then SS, on the other hand, has been just getting bombarded by like RPG attacks and car bombings.
Well, I would obviously refer back to the comments of me saying, people should be mindful of their comments because they do get publicised. It's just how it is. And of course, the president and the secretary, and of course the relevant cabinet members will, of course, discuss this. I will pop that over to them as well, so they can discuss what more they can do to ensure that they have the relationship between them all.
Is Secret Service ready to issue an apology towards DSS?
Any apologies for things said will be said privately. There's no need for everyone to air their dirty laundry in public. Things happen, people get heated. It's the nature of it. And of course, I know that with the great inauguration coming up, the Secret Service and of course the DSS and various other agencies and departments will be getting involved together. So it'll be a perfect time for those to get to know each other and to maybe start a blossoming friendship.
Okay, I have another question regarding the inauguration, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Recently, yes, I know they've been doing a lot of training towards ramping up their protection details in preparation for the inauguration.
Yeah.
But a lot of sources, specifically from the criminal underground, are plotting devious attacks towards the president. And in response to the mock details that SS has been running, the criminals have also been conducting terrorist operations. And from what I can tell, the criminals are successful. So does this administration think SS is capable of protecting the president during the inauguration, or will they have to rely on GMs?
I can't talk specific to any trainings or anything else that has happened because that would obviously compromise our security. But in terms of the Secret Service, they do a fantastic job, and I am more than assured that they know exactly how they're going to protect the president and what they're going to do. I mean, obviously, where there is official roleplay and where things actually need to happen, I'm sure GMs or event staff or whatever have already thought of different ways to ensure the protection of all those needed. But where Secret Service has an active role to play, they will play that role and, of course, do it to the best of their ability.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem at all. Any other questions in the room before we go back to the stage? You have a question. iFolder, what's your question? And put your hand up in the stage if you want to speak on the stage as well. Is there Robux in the budget for high activity employees this time around? The budget hasn't been announced yet. There is, of course, plenty to go around. We will allocate it sufficiently across departments. And of course, it is for the individual department leaders and secretaries to make their case to the relevant people on the budget. Right. Question. What's your question, person in the military outfit? Well, it's not a military outfit. Sorry. It's like, sorry. I thought it was a camouflage. Guys, there are some foreign leaders here as well. Would you like to say hello? There is Secretary Montague. Oh. Say hello, foreign leaders. Be nice to them, please, because we need to be nice to them. We actually really need. So please be nice. What was your question, Sam, please? Do you have that question still? No, can you be nice, please? You're in the White House, not your own home. Would Coast Guard get more funding? In terms of funding and the budget, it is for each secretary of that department to make that argument, to make that case. So, I would obviously speak to the relevant secretary about securing that funding. And the budget will obviously be announced in due time. Yes, the United States welcomes Taiwan to DC. Please say hello, Taiwan, guys. Okay, right. We'll move back to the stage. Let me have a look. Oh gosh, Kind Yarder has got his hand up. We'll move to Drew Marks Alt. Whoever's on the stage today is doing fantastic. Hello, Drew. What is your question to the White House? Yes, we can hear you. What's your question to the White House?
I just was wondering if the president and her cabinet members had a statement on the alleged primary meddling that took place over the last few days and the alleged group chat that was created of the deep state. If the White House had any statements on that.
The president would, of course, ask those who take part in our democratic processes to be legitimate and follow the rules to the letter at all times. In terms of to the specific instance, it would be best to reach out to the party for their department or party spokesperson to reach out to you and give you a comment.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions? Okay, right. We shall go to Kind Yarder. Kind Yarder, it's lovely to welcome you here in the beautiful briefing room. How can I assist you? What's your question?
Hello, are you able to hear me correctly?
Yes, Mason, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. I have a quick question for the president.
But I'm doing it. But do you know what? Do you want to take the stage for a second? Do you want to come behind the podium, President?
Oh, I could if you got a question for me specifically.
What's your opinion on the Black Lives Matter movement?
I do not think this is a movement that relates to Noosa, nor do I think I can comment on that, but thank you for asking.
Gosh, what does the president think about defunding Secret Service? The president would love to fund the Secret Service. They do a fantastic job. Right, other questions. Let's see. We will invite up Austin Bo Boston 1. Yes, Onion can come on stage in a moment. Austin, what is your question to the White House? Austin, are you there?
Thank you, Press Secretary. My question is the President and the rest of the administration excited for the upcoming inauguration this Sunday?
Well, do you know what? I'm so glad we got a question on this. The inauguration is going to be a fantastic spectacle, and we're going to have the most fun. And of course, I hear many people are very excited for the parade. Of course, the swearing in as well, and the fireworks show and the ball. It's going to be a great night. Now we understand it's quite long, but if you look at it, there's quite a lot of it that's not an in-game event. Like we've got the John of Doom talks, we've got the pre-talks and stuff like that. So, in them times, put John of Doom on and get some rest. Get a bite to eat or something. But it's going to be a long day, but it's going to be a fantastic day, and I encourage you all to come. At least the swearing in ceremony, the ball, and the fireworks show. That'd be great.
Thank you. We are looking forward to it as well.
We will move up strategical Wolfie before he murders me. The Onion, what's your question to the White House?
Thank you very much. So the Onion recently reported 2 fantastic articles covering the arrest warrant issued on former President Xavier Josh. and also on the fact that former President George Godsent was also issued with an indictment. So the Onion asks the following questions. Number 1, has the T-Soups administration taken any further action against either of the two presidents in light of this?
There
are multiple questions, so if
yeah,
that's
yeah.
okay.
So we hope to see them do their time in court and have a fair hearing.
Has the president taken any further action, or no?
The president just loves the integrity of our judicial system again, and the former interim president, as I like to call him, and then the former president should own up to their crimes if they feel that law and order is so important. So we hope that they attend court and have their fair hearing. What's your other question?
Okay. The second thing, in light of it also relating to attendance, is the president, which is typically the common courtesy, is current President T-Soups going to invite either of the former presidents to her inauguration, whereby the former president essentially exchanges power?
They are more than welcome to come to the inauguration. I think out of their own personal choice, they're probably not going to come, but they are more than welcome, of course, to attend. As with everybody,
Who's game banned? Who's game banned? Josh?
Unfortunately, Josh is actually game banned and cannot attend. But
What about George Godsend? What about George Godsend? Is the president looking forward to seeing former President George Godsend at the
I don't think he's going to show up.
inauguration?
I would love to see him if he came.
I would be shocked.
Oh, so you'd like to see the former president?
Yeah, we were friends in the past. Like to see how he's doing.
And then you snaked him for president.
I didn't snake him.
She won fair and square.
I told him I was running.
We will move to Bath Hamaza. Oh, that sounded like a terrorist group. What's your question, Bath?
Who do you think the GOAT is? LeBron or MJ?
What? I did not hear what you said.
Who's the GOAT? LeBron or MJ?
Who is MJ? I don't know who that is, unfortunately. I can't comment.
MJ!
Oh, we love Michael Jackson. Well, I don't know. It depends who you are, because there was that documentary about it, wasn't there? Right. Secret Service are protecting me. I've got a man trying to attack me. Right. We will move to Jacob Copley. Jacob, what's your question to the White House?
Move
him down. Gosh, I don't know what that says, but I'm just gonna shut up because I'll probably say something offensive by accident. Right. We will move. Anyone got a question in the game? What's your question? What's your question, Kaidiada? In recent controversy of Matrix being nominated, do we expect any difference in the budget? We expect the budget to be as fair as possible and allocated as fairly across the administration as possible. I'm going to take a picture. Short. Kai Jody, you just heard your video. What? Oh, God.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm aware that was my apologies. You said you don't know who MJ is?
Well, I didn't think it was Michael Jackson. He was talking about LeBron James. I don't know who that is, but isn't he like
Michael? You don't know the best black super?
Who's LeBron James?
I would literally take it up the ass from MJ, dude. He's that inspirational.
Let's move it down.
No. I have an actual question.
What's your question?
What is your opinions, right, on the current NBA? What do you think? Do you know what NBA stands for?
No. I don't know what that means.
What about NFL?
Is that like rugby or something?
What about MLB?
What the hell's MLB?
What about NHL?
Sorry, I don't know that.
What about MLS?
I don't know what that is, unfortunately. So I do apologize, but America in sports.
Okay.
America
Everyone,
is.
I will
America
take
is
any other
different.
questions. I'll take any other
Yeah,
questions.
Secret Service, escort this man off my stage. What's going on? Why is he on my stage? Yep, thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What's your question?
So, what do you think about the Premier League?
The Premier League. I'm not a sports guy, to be honest. You know, maybe people in the country I live in would know about American sports, but I just don't know about sports in general, to be honest.
What about ECB? England and Wales Cricket Board.
I don't know what that is. I just don't know sports. I'm very, very, very bad at sport.
And sorry. And what do you think about the finals of the Euro Cup?
Can we remove this guy from the stage? We don't talk about that.
It's a genuine question. What do you mean?
No, we don't talk about that match. I don't even watch football, and I was fuming. Right, so we'll see who else we can move up. Anyone else who hasn't spoken before? No. Put your hand up in the stage quickly, because we're going to be ending soon. So put your hand up in the stage quickly if you want to speak. Oh, sorry, I keep moving in the game. Montague the King. What's your question to the White House? What's your question, Montague the King?
When's your birthday? Are you gonna host a party in DC?
My birthday is on the 28th of March, so we've got some time to go. I mean, I think it'd be past the point of a T-Soup's even second term. So, you know, let's just hope that someone will put some balloons up for me somewhere.
Interesting. Thank you.
Right. This is how you know that the conference is nearly over. People start asking you questions instead about the White House. Question. What's your question? I would like to ask a question, Guy. Alpha Centurion. What's your question? Will the DoD employ a competent battle staff that can deploy multiple branches at a time? Sorry, people are adding me to chat all the time. The USM and our great military, they're going to have some great Rizbrick, that was hashtag. They're going to have some great stuff going on, and of course we have our new training centers coming soon, according to Ukrainian. So that's going to be great. The invasion of Ridgeway was embarrassing. Well, you know, I could get into why it was a little bit harder to do anything in Ridgeway, but the defense of DC was impeccable for sure. We did a great job, but to be honest, the military, we are planning a lot of stuff for that, so you will hear more about that in due course. And they have, of course, some great leaders. Of course, I'm a great fan of Tactical Rummy, who's a great man, and I'm sure he's going to support the great comeback of our military. Biggest question in the room. I've got the question of a century. Go on. What's your question, Leto, Med? I don't know. Are you from Yorkshire? I'm not from Yorkshire. James Harrow, what's your question? And if you tag me in the Discord or anything, I can't see it. I'm a man. I can't multitask. I'm awful at it. Are you from Bradford? No. Home counties. I don't know what that means. James Harrow, what's your question? Will the USM see the support of the wider government to ensure we don't have a situation like last term? The USM, of course, well, last term it was a mess. Okay, let's just be completely honest in that. And the Secretary for Defence and, of course, the administration as a whole is fully behind USM and will do whatever it takes to get them back on track. So we will see a lot of support for USM. I mean, including even from our ownership team, Ukrainian, who's getting that base built, which is going to do great things for our military. And of course, you have the whole power of the administration in helping you recruit and get things done. Okay, right. I'm going to take 3 more questions. So if you haven't already spoken in the stage, put your hand up and I will get you up. I'm going to look for people who haven't spoken before. Jake. Man Tissue Zero. Can we move Man Tissue Zero? Man Tissue Zero, what is your question to the White House?
Good day. Am I speaking to the White House?
You are speaking to the White House.
Sorry,
What's
I
your
think the
question
connection
to
is
the
a bit
White House?
dodgy across the pond. That's all. I'd like to ask the Prime Minister. Sorry, force of habit. Habits die hard. I'd like to ask the President what he's doing about the cost of living crisis.
The president will announce the budget in due course, and all Americans shall thrive.
I think, yeah, sorry, no, one of my constituents were asking me about Household Support Fund 6.
We do not recognise United Kingdom household support funds.
Thank you for your support, sir. Good day.
No problem. Anyone else who hasn't spoken? Space Loyalist. Can we move Space Loyalist up, please? Space _ yeah. And after this, one more question. Space Loyalist, what's your question?
Yeah, hey man, we're kind of fucking broke.
Oh.
Can you get the developers and the group staff to give us money here in the treasury?
Well, we are. Well, I assume the conversations are happening, but when we are allowed to do a budget, of course, we shall do a budget, and we will allocate funds necessarily with our great Treasury Department.
I mean, I do make my own money, acid, but I don't want to sink it all into this group.
That's so great. Right. Okay, we'll take one more question. Now, guys, I'd just like to say, if you're interested in working for the administration, I mean, over the last few days, the other day I was broke. I was so broke that I couldn't even afford a good gun. And now I've got 123,000 in the bank. So get a government job, guys. It's worth it. Right, I'll take one stage question and then one question from the thing, and then we are completely done. We are completely done after that. Okay. I'm looking for anyone who hasn't spoken, and if not, I'm going to pick at random. Okay, we'll go to Austin Bo Boston again, and then we'll take one question from the audience in the room. What's your question?
Can you hear me again?
Oh, what's your question?
My next question is, what food will President T. Soups be catering to the White House ball?
Well, some classics, of course. We're going to have some cocktail sausages. We're going to have some sausage rolls, some Scotch eggs. I don't know if you have them in America. Scotch eggs. We're going to have a variety with some quiche, some cheese and bacon quiche, and some pizza, but it will be a little bit cold because we're going to have to make it at the masses. Right. We'll take one more question from. Right. I'll go to and anyone who hasn't spoken in the room yet. Anyone who hasn't spoken in the room yet. Me, I haven't. Yes, you have. Okay, I'm going to eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Matto, Latto, or whatever you're called. What's your question? So I did eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I made it fair. Metto, Letto. What's your question? Quick. I'm not from Birmingham. I don't know what Aston Villa is. I think that's a football or something. I'm not too sure. A football club. Right. Okay. I'll take the last question because they were literally on serious questions. Timmy, do you have a serious question? Yeah, okay, just go. List it off. What's your question to the White House? Don't touch my stage. Right, now you're getting arrested. Right, okay. We are finished, guys. So usually we exit on the left. Is a Secret Service person here to tell me if that's are we exiting via this door here, guys? We leave through this door? Question mark.
Y'all be leaving through the door you came in.
Oh, okay. So the door we came in. Okay.
Yes.
Let's go through this door, guys. Oh, sorry, I've just got off my Discord. Yeah, if everybody could go through the door the one that you came through, can you leave through that door, please, guys?